Shout out to you. It's the Holistic Motivator, and today I'm here to and your gift with the world, regardless of what you think, regardless whether you feel like you're being supported or not supported. The universe is supporting you. Okay, so keep tapping onto this episode of Ed Talks Daily because I'm about to share something from my spirit to yours. Listen, I used to listen to Les Brown all the time. He kept saying, "You got something special. You got greatness within you." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, Les, what you talking about? Let me find out for that one for myself." It sounded good when you listen to it, but it's not until when you start really tapping into that divine source of inspiration and you get in the spirit, then you're like, "Yo, I actually do have something special. I have something great within me." And then once you start sharing that, it's like the more and more you're like you're getting amazed by it. You're like, "I can't believe this is me." Um, Believe it that it is, and don't hide all of it. Share it piece by piece, little by little. The reason why is if you keep that hidden recipe in your back pocket, you never share the food. What's the point of having the recipe? Like nobody literally got to taste your food. Like the grandma, like nobody got to taste grandma food. Grandma would not be known as the best. Is so you have to share that food, man. What's happening is a lot of people they be cooking it up. I mean, they be drawing, they be painting, they be singing, they be creating jewelry, they be doing their thing, but nobody really know about it because they not sharing the recipe. By that I mean they're not sharing the food. So keep tapping into this episode of Ed Talks Daily. If you feel like, bro, I got so many gifts. If you feel like, yo, I'm so talented, but something's holding you back from starting. You feel like you're not ready. You have a little fear in you. You've been accustomed to a certain way, so now you don't know if you could really go that other way. You're hearing a lot of opinions, and they're taking over your mind. You don't really know what to do because you're not really making the decisions anymore, or you just feel like you are facing temporary defeat. So you feel defeated, like you don't feel like, man, I don't really feel like it, or you really see it, other people see it, but you're not seeing the fruits of your labor. This episode is gonna be for you. Now, I am gonna talk about this not because I am the guru guy who made it. No. I'm gonna talk about this because I am the guy who's every day learning, growing, and becoming. Right? I am going through this stuff. I am pushing myself to do this stuff. So I'm not about to talk to you from a perspective of I know stuff. I don't know nothing. What I do know is that I know nothing, but I do know that I step up to be used by a higher spirit. So in that spirit, allow me to share some stuff from my spirit to yours. And from my spirit to yours is that last week I felt like giving up. This week I woke up and I kept it going. I want you to remember this. Every single day, every single week, every single month, every single new season, new quarter, you gotta figure out not just to have an urge or a motivation to say I'm gonna keep doing this, but to become innovative to say I'm not just gonna keep doing the same way and expecting a different result. I'm gonna do this continuously like I've been doing it, but I'm going to do it with a little bit of I'm gonna do it with a little bit of more work ethic. I'm gonna do it with a little bit more creativity. I'm going to do it with a better environment, better mind state. I'm going to do it more effectively than I did it. So I am not about to step up here and tell you, oh my goodness, like just keep doing what you're doing. Maybe you might need to stop. Sometimes it's like, yo, it's what you're doing that's it's what you're doing that's causing you to not get where you want to go. And it's not necessarily the overall perspective, the fact that you're doing the work, but it's the how you're doing it. It's the gaps in how you're doing it. So you said, I thought this was a motivational message. No. It is. But look, who said this? Jim Rohn, my brother. Jim Rohn, one of the gurus of our time, he said, people think they need motivation, right? But if you motivate an idiot, then you got to motivate an idiot. He said it almost like that. And I didn't really understand that too much because I love motivation because it makes me feel good. It gets me going. It's like fire underneath my belt. But Jim Rose says something that's powerful. He said, I start with education. We start with personal development Because if you motivate somebody who does not have the right mindset, you might motivate them to do the very thing that's going to take them apart, going to take them steps back. So it's not motivation as much as it is inspiration, but being inspirited with the right information and path. Because you can be on a path going up every day, going to a ditch. Somebody says, what's the difference between somebody's success or failure? Each of them took an action. One of them probably subconsciously or consciously, but each of them took an action. Each of them went a path. But it's just that one path was better than the other. Not in the sense of one was right or wrong, but one path was more righteous towards the right direction, more compatible with one's vision, and more in line with where you're going. And at some point, it starts from seeing that whether or not the path you're taking is effective towards the direction you want to go. And it's that realization and readjustment that transform your life. And that's where I'm at all of the time. So you're like, what is a major readjustment? Like, look, one of the major reasons why your gift is not getting out there is because you're procrastinating on something that God is asking you to reveal it, and there's signs coming up everywhere. Look, for the past week or so, I had been so frustrated, but so empowered. It's weird. You ever been so frustrated with yourself in the most empowering state of your life? So I went over town, went to Philadelphia. I did a little speech. I spoke to some college town. I did the Qigong. I was speaking to people. And I was like, damn, I'm good at this. But then the next week after that, I had to go through a realization. I'm like, yo, I need to be doing this, like doing this. So I was like, damn, I'm really good at this. I need to be doing this. Like I need to be speaking to colleges. And then that reminded me of the calls I didn't make. That reminded me of the stuff I procrastinated on, like the book I haven't written. I'm like, yo, I should have had this book. And I started shooting over myself. I started doing these things. So when you realize your potential, you have two options. Let that be an inspiring force, or let that be a shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. And for a little bit, I fed myself this. I was like, damn, man, there's so much possibilities. I'm so inspired. This is what I can do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I could do. But I'm like, damn, this is what I should have done. This is what I could have done. This is what I didn't do. Now, the more I entertain shoulda, coulda, didn't, is the more I am literally depriving myself could, would, and will. Could, will, I can, I will, I must. Shout out to E.T., man. Look. So it is a point where you looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I know who I am. I know what gift I got. I know I'm talented, but something in my mind frame, something is not aligning with who I know that I am. And in that gap between that procrastination gap can be unworthiness. That procrastination gap can just be habit. Like for me, is I developed a habit of not, and I'm breaking this habit of not and stepping into the habit of doing, of not writing a book, a page a day, 2 pages a day, 3 pages. I've created a habit of ignoring the notification I created for me to write that book. And I'm like, damn, I got something special. I got greatness within me. I remember what Les told me a long time ago. And I'm like, damn, I gotta bring this stuff out here. I'm like, yo, I am 13 years away from 14 because I'm 27. I used to be 14 years old 13 years ago, and I'm 13 years away from 40. I'm sitting in myself. I'm like, yo, God bless you, bruh. And you can be a blessing to many others. I'm like, yo, there are so many people right now that literally you don't have 13 years to reach. I'm not saying I'm not going to be here in 13 years. I don't know. In my culture, we say, si bon Dieu veut. That means if God wants. That means our future is not determined upon whether or not I want to be here. It's dependent upon whether God is whether that's my path. So we don't know what our future holds, but what we know is in the presence of our present moment. We got to be a present and a gift. And sometimes when you are stepped into the awareness of what's in you, it's hard for you to just like keep that lane dormant. So this rising, I'm doing Rising Prime, and shout out to Colette for following up with that. I was like, yo, I used to listen to Jim Rohn and hear how he speaks, and I was like, damn, I wish one day I can be like wise like this. And I didn't necessarily know how that would happen. I was like, yo, do I have to memorize? What does it come? Where's it gonna come from? Like, how am I gonna do this speaking stuff? How am I gonna inspire, motivate, educate? I was like, I wish I can be this wise, right? But then as I started to be used by God, and I didn't become necessarily wise, but I was able to tap into infinite wisdom, and I'm sharing that. It only made me realize how stupid I really am. And my wisdom is not in the fact that I know a lot and that I'm wise, it's the fact that I know enough to know that I am very stupid. And that but yet very smart, yet very bestowed with greatness, yet a king, but yet very weak and stupid. That's where my wisdom lies. And knowing that, sometimes I can let that get me in a rut of feeling bad about what I could have done, should have done, did do, what I did do that did not serve those around me and myself, or what I did do that I know I shouldn't do because I know better. So dealing with all of these things, and then the obligation of living to my word because this is what I do, can be burdensome because in my head, it's not that I'm trying to be perfect, but I'm at least trying to live out what I speak from my spirit. Because I'm here giving you this, I'm not giving it to you, I give it to myself. And I'm like, dang, I got to take this back and use it. And I got to tell you, a lot of times I don't. And this is where the stupidity lies. It says, how can a man be so empowering, but yet so dumb? My dumbness is in my subconscious scripts. It is in stepping into awareness, but not stepping into the action with the awareness. That's where my dumbness, if that's a word, my stupidity lies in doing the same thing over and over, insanity, and calling it life. So, in stepping in that, I'm listening to what Neil Davis says. It has to work or it has to work. And I love that statement. I love what he says about that. And I'm hearing that because it's at a point where, yo, you got to do it or you got to do it. You ain't got no option. You ain't got no choice. It's in you. You were born to reveal it, right? That light was born to reveal it. And I was like, yo, when I'm speaking to people and I'm like, yo, I'm blessing, I'm speaking with my words, and I want to follow up with investment in my with action. I am realizing that I need to be wealthy. I need to be dumb, massively rich, because my wealth is going to bring so much more abundance in our neighborhoods and the people around me, because that's just in my character. Somebody says like, damn, why not? So, but guess what? In my pathway to that ultimate abundance, does that mean I can't serve my abundance now? So here's what I realized. I was like, okay, how do I own the fact that I'm still in the process? I said, okay, share your inner success in the process and share the journey of how you're keeping it going, regardless of not having all of this money that you know you have in you, but you're not converting it for it. Let me repeat that. I got so much money in me. Somebody like, what you mean? Yo, you listening to this for free, yo. Somebody about to pay me 20 grand for this. You're like, what? Yo, they about to pay me 20 grand. You getting it for zero. So I'm like, here's what I need to do. I need to take advantage of the journey and the pain that it goes through with the same information. And I need to talk about that in a way where somebody along that journey can relate, because along this path, this is what's going to create that 20 grand. Because when I shared like the other day, I went to Philadelphia, and I'm keeping it real with these college students. And there's something about the new generation that, like, once you have money, it proves that what you say is like gold. But wisdom is not because you got money. It comes from the ether, the spirit, God, whatever you want to label it at. as so somebody can be the most empowering, wise, understand, like they might have something that you need, even if they don't have the money. So I was doing the speech, and I'm being really open now, right? So I was going out of state to do a speech that they're not paying me for, but I decided to do it because the leaders of certain organizations were going to be in that room, and I know if I show up to that room and I do a really great job at empowering them, they might go back to their organization, and eventually they're going to hire me to come back to their organization to speak to them. So you're like, why are you telling me all of this information? Look, I had to figure out how I'm going to pay for the hotel, how I'm going to take the flight, how am I going to get a flight there, flight back, and stay there. I was like, yo, I'm about to invest at least $300 to $400 or $500 on this trip. I'm gonna get $0 back. I need to figure out how to do it. And I'm like, yo, I said, how you run your own business, but you kind of living paycheck to paycheck? I'm like, yo, that's just the reality of the situation. Things go up, things go down. My community goes up, things go down. I get speeches, I don't. I put in the work, I don't. I procrastinate, then I don't. It's on me, right? And it's just how it works. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna spend whatever money I got on this trip, spend it on there, and get out to the trip. When I went there, I asked everybody what they want to do, and I asked them what's getting in the way of doing it. And a lot of people told me they wanted to travel and they kind of wanted to live out their gift. And I literally sat there and told a bunch of college students, I was like, look, I couldn't even afford to come to speak to you. And in my heart of hearts, I'm like, yo, is this gonna discredit everything I'm about to say? I'm like, hell, it's not gonna discredit, because embarrassment now is empowerment later. Right. So I'm telling them the whole story. I'm like, listen, it is my gift that's able to bring you this, not my money. Because what I'm sharing with you now, when I have $1 million, I'm about to share the same thing again. It's just gonna be a difference. It's just that instead of sharing it to you for free, you're gonna be paying me $5,000 to come over here to speak to you. And I meant that because I know one of them probably going to soon, and I'm waiting for that. I'm saying that because I wanted them to see in that moment that it's not a matter of the money you have that determines what you do. It's a matter of how willing you are to do whatever is necessary. I'm like, yo, I'm going to Philadelphia. I ain't got no money, and I ain't got no passport either, but I don't need one because it's right in the state. I'm like, I'm going to Philadelphia. I got one-way ticket. I ain't got nothing booked yet. I'm like, yo, I ain't got even a telly back. And in my mind, I'm like, damn, Ed, we should be way farther than this. Like, but then I'm like, yo, you did make money in your business this month. You just, all your money just went toward, it's like you're breaking even on stuff. And it's part of the process during certain months. But you had a good month, but you just breaking even. And you're following back up from the winter, which was horrible. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing better. I'm working on my business. I'm growing. I'm going to show up whether or not I got the money or not. I didn't know how I was going to come back, where I was going to stay. All I know is I am going to Philadelphia. So I buy my ticket. I say I'm coming. I set it up. And guess what? Closer to the date, I started getting opportunities. I'm like, yo, I'm going to make content for you. I got contracts to do content creation for people. I'm like, yo, I got all of these gifts. I turned them into money, and I was able to go on that trip and do that. While I'm on that trip, I had to catch the buses and trains. And it's humbling because I'm coming off the plane. Uber is like $60. I'm not about to spend $60. So I'm catching a bus. I went through the whole town of Philly. Like, the thing about the process is you realize what you think is like, oh man, I can't afford an Uber to go to that place, is actually I got an opportunity to drive through the hood and see Philly. It was so beautiful. I was like, damn, I would have missed this if I took the Uber that took the highway straight to the place. But because I took the bus transit system, I got to see the people. I got to talk to people. And I'm like, yo, I remember taking the buses and trains at home all of the time. And I used to carry all these bags in my hand. And I'm like, one of these days, this is going to be useful because this is just practice. I keep saying this all the time. I'm like, yo, this is practice because I'm going to do so much traveling. And I'm going to need the skill set of getting on trains and buses. Look, I'm telling you my story, and you might be like, yo, does this pertain to me? It does. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people don't tell you about the mud. They tell you about the trophy. I want to tell you about the mud because I'm certain of what's gonna happen. So this kid asked me, it was like, you know what would have been much of like, you know what would have sealed the deal for me? It was a brother, a young brother. And I realized like, damn, I was 22, 21, like 5, 6 years ago. And I'm literally like mentoring these younger that's closer to my age. I'm like, oh, this is cool. It was a brother. He's like, you know what would be so empowering? He's like, yo, if after that you can tell us how you made a milli or how you like so wealthy right now. And I was like, yeah, man, that would be very powerful. Like, I wish I had that story for you, but it's not part of it's not just, I didn't reach that journey yet. So you know what I told him? I told him, listen, you know what's going to be more empowering is that right now I'm about to tell you the story of the struggle. But a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, when you tell me to come to your institution or organization, and I'm telling you the transformation from 2 years ago, a year ago, that's going to hit a little bit differently. So I'm saying I'm planting a seed now, and I'm giving you principles that is sound, because I'm not making the principles up. Principles are principles, whether or not those principles are manifested in your life to the extent of which you want them. Somebody says you haven't manifested a million, but I do manifest living off of my talent and gift, serving people and making money with my own gift and not being enslaved, even if I'm not making as much as I want to yet. And I'm working on making more and more every day. And we got to have this conversation. And I used to be so embarrassed about this that I never had that conversation. But now I'm so confident in my future that my embarrassment now is such empowerment later. And now that it don't bother me to talk about the struggles I'm going through, because I know people are going through the same struggles. And if we can relate and you can see like, hey, you mean this guy just told me this, and look, he's still doing that. And you're like, damn, I need to. Actions speak louder than words. So what I'm saying is, everything, your gift does not have to be in the form of how you want it to be like. You just have to understand that it is not your result that quantifies or qualifies or makes your gift worth it. It is the benefit of it as you share it, right? So I used to think that I could never speak and help people unless I made $1 million. So my confident level was not a specific way at a specific time, because I felt as if I wasn't compatible, I wasn't worthy to talk about these principles that are sound, because all of these principles didn't create everything I wanted in my life. So I hindered sharing my gift because the result of my gift wasn't how I like it to be. So then I realized that's really stupid, because I talk about some stuff I need daily. Like I'm like, yo, you got to be conscious of your emotions and not snap and not be resentful. I need that. You got to say, man, you can't overindulge eating all this food, eating late at night, can't be smoking all the time. I need that message. I'm like, yo, it's a continuous thing. I need to keep working on myself. I'm like, so if I found out that, oh, I never reached to a point where I make it or I'm like perfect, it's never going to happen. So I can never wait for me to be perfect. I have to keep realigning myself with my values and stay true to them. But I got to keep sharing my truth regardless. So what helps me show up every day is authenticity, um, vulnerability, and spirituality. You know, to be vulnerable enough to be authentic gets you in a spiritual place where you almost being used. So I've been making so many podcast episodes that are just like over my head. And it is literally over my head because it's over all the stuff that's going on in my head in my life. And I know they're sound because not only are they helping people, but they're creating something out of my own life. And the results will tell. Okay. So what I'm saying is this: we got to keep on going. All right. We got to keep enjoying the process. And I'm going to read what Touche Beauty says. Most times convenience robs us of divine purpose. Every destiny comes with process. And because you're so desperate to get to the end from the beginning, delay ourselves. You are powerful. Thank you. Appreciate that. Everything is a process. And it teaches you stuff you wouldn't have learned unless you were in it. And it even shows you for appreciation for stuff. So I went to Philly. I didn't have no money to do 5-star hotels and get the whole experience. Like, you know how you see people go on vacation and they be doing the whole thing. They be doing really what people do is when they go on vacation, they get a what I said, a structured, controlled environment, and they do things that tourists do. I didn't go on vacation. I went to do a speech. I couldn't do things that tourists do because I didn't have money to do things tourists do. So what I did was I did things that normal people did. And I found a beauty in doing normal people things, day to day life. I found a beauty of walking down the street, taking the subway, of just like looking around, like talking to people, going to the food stop. I did very simple stuff. I was like, oh, this is the humbleness. And I was on the stuff that I did that were the most beautiful moments, I never recorded those, you know, like, and I didn't even want to talk about them, but I'll talk about them because I want to remind myself, I want to remember the journey, right? Like there was a guy, it was cold, it was snow, I saw snow for the first time, by the way, like, was a beautiful thing. There was like two people sitting on the street, they were cold, so I was about to leave. So I gave one of the guy who was homeless, I gave him my thing, I gave him something to cover. I gave this guy a book, and I went to the other store. I gave this guy another book. And each person I gave the book to, for some reason, I went to a library. They had free books in Philly, 5 great books, and I found 5 spirits. No, not 5, but it was 3 people in Philly. One of them when I came back, and I kept one for myself. But I gave these 5 books in accordance to what I felt. I didn't know why I picked this book, but I met one guy who was selling shoes, and I knew this guy, there was something in him. I knew that he probably was dealing with people with diseases and different stuff in his family. I gave him a book that talked about diseases and how there's natural medicine, empathy. I gave it to him. He was like, yo, thank you. He started reading it. I went to the street, and I was giving this guy the thing, and I was talking to him, and whatever. I was having a conversation. I don't want to talk about what I did for whatever, but and then I gave this other guy a book. It was about the psychology. He looked like he was an intellectual, like some dude off of I just felt it in his spirit. So I gave him this book about the psychology of man. I hope he read it. Then I went on the subway. I'm sitting on the subway, and there was this other man talking next. I just seen him, just kept looking at me, and then we somehow had a conversation. He tried to sell me a ticket, and he was like, "Yo," and I asked him, like, "What do you want? What's your gifting? What's your talent? What you good at?" And I started talking to him, and I had a book called Uncle Tom's Cabin. Now, I had no idea, but for some reason, I felt that he needed that Uncle Tom's Cabin book because I felt like he was in a form of, mental enslavement. And then I put at the end of the book, what's going on, brother? I put at the end of the book, Think and Grow Rich. And throughout the pages, I put my number, I put my social media. I was like, you got to read the book. To get to the book, I want you to read at the end of it after you freed yourself from the slavery mentality, and then call me if you're really about it. Because you might not see this number a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, but you go remember when I talked to you, I gave you that book. And of course, I just left so that he can really think about it. I had to do a dramatic leave. Some stuff you make it stick in people's mind. I do stuff on purpose. Or I met this kid accidentally, and I know I'm telling you my story or whatever. I met this kid accidentally in when I was in the Airbnb, the B&B, and then I had somehow left the key somewhere, and I needed help. Somehow I met this kid. I started talking to him about NFT, and he was an artist, and I gave him the whole game. Really, this kid was about to make a decision on where he should go with his life. And I know the conversation I had with him about NFTs and how the gaming system is now becoming the metaverse, he's going to take that and do something with it. And I was like, you know what? We could probably partner up. And I saw in his eyes that this kid, he was like, what's your story? Well, like, wait, tell me more. I met this other white lady at the B&B. She was doing a half marathon. I'm doing a half marathon in Philly. I don't like half marathon. Then I go for a run, and I run into a half marathon. I did a half marathon. Had a conversation about her business. I'm like, you know what? Podcasting. You know what? If you interview the people, she does a whole lot of financial service. I was like, what if you interview the people you want to be in your thing? Interview the CEOs about their finances. She was like, oh yeah, I'm about to implement that. So I'm in Philly. I had so much impact with these people, day-to-day layman folks. And then I realized God told me this 3-5 years ago. God said in my head, somebody says, man, you delusional? God be talking to you like that? Yo, I know God be talking to me because I know in my spirit, there's no reason why I want to stand up in the middle of the train and do a speech, or in the middle of the bus and do a speech. I know as a selfish human, I don't know why I want to go on the streets and pray and talk to people like that, do evangelism. So I knew it had to be something deeper than that. So I kept hearing that, but I never really do it. I do it sometimes, but then somehow by osmosis, I was doing it. So you're like, that made me realize that these trips are not just for you to have fancy vacations or hotels. You got to go in the city that you're in and impact people individually. During this speech, I'm talking to people individually. I'm like, wow. After doing all this stuff, and I'm not gassing my head or whatever, it just made me realize how valuable that what I got is. So I said to myself, you can't be playing around with this gift. I said to myself, like, bro, you can't be sleeping on you. I said to myself, like, bro, you need to walk this town a little bit different. Like, when you go to these towns, you got to have several events set up. I said to myself, you go to the college, you go to the high school, then you go to the middle school, then you got something at the park, then you got people that is there just for you, your private stuff, and then you leave the town. I was like, bruh, God, the calling on my life is way bigger, and I need to take action prompto because there's so many souls and spirits that my spirit wants to inspire. Yet the other day, I just did Melanin's Magic pop-up event, and I'm talking to people in my spirit. The only thing I want to do is bless them, and I see somebody and I got a message for them. I don't know where this comes from, but I be seeing people and I tell them a message and they're like, wow, you just told me I didn't need it. I was like, I just do that all the time. I don't even know. I felt like I was cheerleading everybody in the I'm a cheerleader of everybody, right? And I know when I left that meeting, whatever I told to these people, they're gonna go and they're gonna do something with it because I meant it from a spiritual perspective. It's like it's not that I wanted them to buy anything from me. I just felt like I needed to tell them that. I felt like I needed to embark this on this. I feel like I needed to support them. Just like when I went over town, I'm the speaker, but I'm not acting grand. I'm helping set things up. I'm doing content for this person who's hosting this event. I'm getting her out of her comfort zone. I'm like, yo, you need to make content. I need you to do a walkthrough. Let me coach you on that. I'm coaching her on that. By the time I leave, she got content. She got a whole different mindset about it. She's like, damn, this person really. When you like these little things you do so effortlessly, so easily, they are so powerful. Like like Brianna just said, if you imagine if you convince yourself that you weren't capable, your gift, like if you say you're not capable, that becomes your very own incapability. Like your clutch is what you don't trust yourself to do. Your clutch becomes your limitation imposed with your own ideas of what you can or cannot do. And here's the thing though, it's not to do it because everything looks pretty. It's not to do it because people are showing up. It's not to do it because you're getting a lot of money. It's just to do it because you know it's a responsibility. Like I just told you, I got a responsibility to do Rise and Prime. I got a responsibility to empower people. I got a responsibility to be a motivator. I got a responsibility to post. I didn't post a podcast all day, all last week. I promise you, it felt so weird. There was such a difference. I didn't do the podcast all last week. It felt so weird. I felt like there was a gap missing. I'm like, yo, every podcast I put out has value to these people, to my tribe, to the world. Yo, Brianna, when you do that Bible study, like if there's nobody there, that one person, yo, you only need to put the one candle for that candle to be a light to that environment. And that light allows other people to see so they can light up candle, 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 candle. And the flame is the eternal flame called the Holy Spirit. So when you align yourself with God and being one with the divine laws, that Holy Spirit comes out of yours into others. And it's like, bruh, they can feel that. They can feel that. And look, it don't mean you're perfect. God used so many people that was so imperfect. And in their imperfections is what helped people see. So I love my flaws because they're the false laws are becoming flows. Like the things that I do that I know ain't good really become the urge for me to say, let me fully live on this wisdom. And the gap between really, really living on that is the process of becoming, of refinement, And out of this refinement is the information that I structure to help you. or anybody I come across, because now my refinement become experience and understanding. Look, one of the greatest thing that God says to ask, and Solomon knew it, and that's why I felt like, like Solomon, I asked God for wisdom and understanding. But you can ask God for wisdom and understanding and still stand underneath your limiting beliefs, and still stand underneath your limiting emotional states, and still stand underneath your limiting faith. You ask God for understanding and wisdom, you better step into that. Somebody says, overstand it. Asking God for all of this stuff, but you ain't using none of it. You praying every single day, Lord, please bless me. God just bless you with, look, what I realize about myself is I keep talking about wanting to be a millionaire and how when I become a millionaire, I'm going to empower so many people. And I know it to be true. When God gave you that thousand, you're a thousandaire, and you out here wasting 1,000 on stuff that's wasting your money, and you drifting like there's drips in your pocket. Cause I realized that I make a decent, like I make enough money that like it's like enough money, just like if I had a regular job that paid me at least let's say between 10 to 20 an hour. So it's decent. It's not great. But then I gotta look at is I'm not even working. It's not even work for me. I do these things all day, every day. I work more hours than most people, technically, but I don't work at all. So I'm like, so what's the issue? I'm like, oh, the issue is I'm wasting my money. I get God, God said you got holes in your pocket, bruh. Check them holes. And when you get more, you get more expenses. You waste it. So you think I want to give you a milli and lose it all? Look, I need you to work on that. It's like guys is like, yo, I want to bless you, man. God's like, yo, bro, look, I already put all this in you. You think, look, I know you got what it takes. I was on who, God like, yo, God is so looking at you like, yo, you don't think you got what it takes? Yeah, he do. Oh man, they don't know. If only she knew. God is like, you know what I put in you? This is why I'm amazed by some seeds, because I'm looking at the seed. I'm like, dang, how did this become? I'm like, damn, God put that suck. God put that. How did you? Or you see like a baby, you're like, damn, how did you come? How you so cute like that? Yo, that God put that in the DNA. So sometimes, like, it's structured and God already has it for you, laid out. And then everything is a test for you to say, like, yo, here's the thing. When you got something big to do, God want to make sure you keep it. So your process before it's revealed to the masses might be a little bit longer because guys really trying to like, yo, guys like, man, I am not about to waste my gift. And obviously you've been using it. So now I need to prepare you. Look, if God gave you a gift and you can't let it dormant, you did like those servants and the servant analogy, and you buried the gift, and you're like, I'm gonna just wait till God come back, give it back to him. And that's just an analogy to say that you want to use your gift. God gonna be like, I ain't worried about this person. But if you like the wise one who said, I'm gonna take those three gifts and go turn them into six, you turn them into six. God like, yo, all right, I'm gonna pay you for this 6 gifts. But look, listen, look, I gave that person 1, man. I gave you 3. You doubled it to 6, and you got influence, and you got this it factor about you, and you got this wisdom about, and you got this information in your head, and you got this brand, and you can relate to people. God is like, oh, I need you. Yeah, I'm gonna need you. You're gonna be a kingdom builder for me. I need your testimony. So I'm gonna give you some tests. I'm gonna put you through some tests. But I need you to prove yourself though, cause here's the thing. I appreciate you. I believe in you. I made you. I put it in you. But listen. I have my name is up to standard, and you can't be saying God in your stuff all the time, and you're not refining certain stuff. So God like, okay, I'm gonna do some stuff with you, but you gotta be better. So that little still voice in your head, you gotta do better. You gotta be better. It's not a judgment because God is condemning you. You're not good enough. No, God is literally saying, you're so good. that I don't want you to lose all of this. So please don't do a sin that's gonna put you in prison for 30 years. God is saying, like, yo, don't overindulge in that. It's gonna do this for you. Like, yo, don't marry the wrong person. So God, like, yo, you ain't got a girl or nothing. Okay, I need you to make your gift your girl. I need you to find yourself. You literally gonna attract that queen. I'm gonna put her in your life. I don't need you to go out here spreading your seed every year, having like 5 baby mamas. Now you got baby mama drama. So now the passion you're supposed to do my work with going toward your baby mamas. So God is saying, like, yo, you feel lonely in this season? Yeah, I isolated you. You're like, yo, God, I'm outside all day in the garden. God, like, I put you there, but you don't eat from that fruit. You better cultivate that, God. I'm gonna give you better cultivate it. So I've been out here a lot, isolated, not doing a lot of stuff, not really seeing a lot. I'm like, yo, man, how many places did not I not go that prolonged my life? You know, when I was thinking like, bro, I need to have this money so I can be doing this with all these people and look like that. Like, yo, God needed me to sit here and make these podcast episodes. He needed me to sit my ass outside and just cut trees. Like, literally, that I need to be doing that because that's creating something. And I'm like, oh, what is that? Nothing is something, because something come from nothing. Out of the blank came everything. So in that peace and tranquility and quiescence is when God is like, ideas, ideas, ideas. But the guy's like, write them down, implement. And then you're like, man, I don't want to be in this garden, man. Yo, I need to see you. You ain't telling me everything. Hey, I thought there were good and evil. Where's the good? Where's the evil? I need to learn about it all. So now you hear somebody says like, yo, what you doing every day doing that? What you doing, studying? What you doing? I look, come work at the club with me. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Guys like, yo, you can do that. You got the skill set to do it. But it's like, that's not what I want you to do with all that power I gave you. Like, yo, you can get that. You could look, God is saying you could go with this, you can go with that. You could do that, and you could do this. But go within, because this is where it's at. Because like, yo, you can get money temporarily from these objects. But if you want to develop the infinite source of abundance, it has to come from within you, because that's where the source lies. Somebody says, where does the money reside? The money reside in your gift. But somebody says, oh, my money resides in my gift, but I'm going to house the gift, close it in the closet, don't share it with nobody. Yeah, you're going to make that money. You ain't making jack diddly squat, okay? You ain't making nothing. So you got to take your money that's in you and you got to cash it out. Somebody, how do I cash out my gift? How do you cash out your gift? Yo, you got to share that sucker. You hiding it. You like, I don't know if I'm right. No. Share your gift. Now, remember I told you I'm going to speak all around the world to millions of people. And when I speak, they're going to take something home with them that's going to forever impact their spirits and souls. They're never going to forget it. It's going to imprint something in their mind. You know, I told you I'm going to do that and I'm going to make millions. I'm doing that every day without making millions. I'm doing that every day without traveling all over the world. I'm doing that every day with a camera and in my backyard. So somebody says, yeah, God told you cultivate your garden and be isolated. No, isolation for preparation. While I'm isolating and preparing, I'm developing that gift. And somebody says, what you doing right now? I am literally practicing for the seminar I'm about to give come next week. Somebody, who gonna call me, right? Maybe I might get a gig next week. So legit, every single day, you gotta show up in a way that you can right now. Because it's just you leveling up the showing up. Look, I was doing the qigong in front of the stage and I was so comfortable. And I realized a gift. People was not looking, not paying attention. I got them all to pay attention. Then slowly I got them all to participate. Then I got them to smile. I got them to be in it. I was like, oh, this is why I have to wake up and rise in prime every day and motivate people to do qigong at 7 a.m. in the morning and have this energy even when they don't. I was like, oh, this is such great preparation because I'm so comfortable on the stage. I don't even feel like I don't even feel weird. I don't even have butterflies. I'm just at peace. I'm like, oh, this is why it takes practice every single day. So I'm realizing, and I realized that what you're doing there for free every day, showing in, day in, day out, just keep doing that. What you're doing every day, just keep doing that. But if it's not yielding certain results, you might have to do that a little bit better. You might have to find a new strategy. You might have to make more calls. You might have to go straight to the decision maker, right? You might have to realize that you're holding out on so many plans you've had years ago because you're just used to, and you need to act on those plans. Grand Rising, Queen. How you doing, Carla? So basically, this is my message for today, y'all. Like I said, I can go all day, every day, but I'm happy to come back to do another episode of Ed Talks Daily. Like I told you last week, I didn't do the episodes, but this week I am back and better. I needed that rejuvenation week. Just get myself just going into the second quarter, and I'm at a point where, and last week I even had orders I had to shift, and my bad about that, Carla. I'm a toss kid. It will be on the way today. But I had like a tough mental health week last week. It was really weird. Really weird. But I was in a good state, but I wasn't. It's really weird. Um, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like I felt like I had so much ahead of my life, and then it's just like, damn. I just felt like, damn, I'm too talented for this. It was such a weird thing, bro. But this week, I'm getting myself going in this new direction. So let me tell you this. You don't always have to feel like it, but look, you wake up yesterday, you was uninspired, but you wake up today, you said, I'm gonna put some spirit underneath my belt, and you get it going. You wake up yesterday, you felt a certain way, you dismantle that. You wake up today, you keep it going. You wake up last week, every single cycle, you're getting better. Every single cycle, you're reminding yourself who you. Every single cycle, you're communicating. All right. So I just wanted to remind y'all about that. I just want to share that with you. I just wanted to come here and be authentic and be open. And I'm so confident in what's ahead of me, what's in me, that I don't even feel weird about sharing what's happening anymore. It's just like, if this don't hit now for you, and I'm sure it's gonna hit one time, one day, and that's all. And it's not. I'm just doing that because I need to do it. Because what else is there to do? Like, I don't know, man. It's like, if you can't do good with your life, with what God gave you, the good God put in you, what are you doing? What are you doing, Grand Rising Queen? You gotta do it. Not all spirits are created equal, but when God creates your spirit with something special to deliver, it weighs on you when you don't carry it out. And you could have the weight of your gift be what brings you abundance, and you could have what brings you pain. Right? You can make it a responsibility and an obligation, or you can make it a burden. All right. And when you don't reveal your gift, it become a burden. And that's why certain people, it's like, I can see what's in them, and it's like, damn, man, you got to bring that sucker out, man. You bring it out, because you look at you, look at you. Who said that? Plies. Yo, look at you. All right. Just really, I just want you to look at you, man. So I am looking at people like that amaze me. Like, yo, you another spirit out here, man. I see you. That's how I look at people now, and the more I look at it, it's just because, like, I know what's in me. Like, damn, you know who you are, bro. Phew, I know what's in you. Like, I'm telling people, like, yo, I know what you got. You're like, what? I do. You're like, how do you? I know. You're like, how do you know though? You don't need to know. Just know that I know that I know that I know that I know. So, yo, just keep living in your knowing and trust it. All right. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay. I believe it. I believe. Let's say it. I believe it. I believe it. Hey, I believe it. I believe it before I see it. I am seeing it. Therefore, it's already there. I believe it before I see it. I see it. I got the vision. Look, I speak it Look, there's a certainty that comes out of knowing that this. It's like, yo, it's a certainty. Somebody like, yo, like you would laugh at me if I say certain stuff to you. If you look at what's going, you're like, yo, how you gonna do that? Look at that. I'm like, don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. Cause I know that I know that I know that I know that I know what's in me. And I'm just gonna keep sharing that every day. Okay? You just keep doing that. That's it. All right? Peace. Infinite water is diving deep once again. Shout out to Ross Smart. Yo, I had a good time and appreciate y'all. Shout out to Let me give a shout out to Brianna. Let me give a shout out to Carla. Let me give a shout out to Karis. Let me give a shout out to everybody in the room who watch now, later. Shout out Remedy. Dricka just came in. Who else was in here? Shout out to Stacy Sterling, Miss Melanin's Magic. You know, shout out to y'all, man. This is a podcast. So if you really like what you hear, go to edtalksdaily.com. You can keep listening. Subscribe, leave a review, do the whole 9 miles. You can listen to the whole. I'm gonna post this again so you can tap into it. So be on the lookout for the post. And remember, you have the unlimited power in you to achieve and reveal what's in you. But first, you got to believe it in order to achieve it. And until that happens, the world forever miss all your talents, all your gifts, and all the great things you got to offer. So remember, let your light shine. Don't hide it. Don't dim it. All right? It's the holistic motivator. I want to shout out to you. Keep it going. Keep it growing. Keep believing in your dreams. Step out there. Every single day, make a noise. Look, if your noise is gonna wake somebody up and you scared of that, I need you to scream louder. Because guess what? They need to wake up. So if that noise is gonna scare you, wake yourself up. Okay? I don't be afraid to make everybody. Some people are tiptoeing their life, their self to the grave because they're afraid they're gonna wake somebody up. They need to wake up. They're afraid that somebody's gonna get mad at them because they walking early in the morning. Like, yo, what you waking up at 4 a.m. for? Hey, what you screaming affirmations for? Hey, what you doing that for? You don't look. You don't need to know. I know what. Look, I need you to own it. Own your gift. Like, own it. Own it. Okay, I got to own it. I got to own it. Okay, that's where the power comes from. It's a belief. You know, if you don't got that belief, it don't come out of it. It don't come out. You know, you gotta have it. It has to be so strong. Like people like, yo, you speak, people want to listen. Cause they're like, this person really believes it. Here's when you do a lie detector test, and I was supposed to end it, but I'm feeling like there's some more messages. Like I said, I get these little. It's like this, man. If you wasn't able to deliver it, it wasn't gonna be in you to begin with. If you didn't have the ability to carry it out, God was not gonna put it in you. God is not trying to waste. Look, God don't put an ingredient in a seed that the seed can't. No, it doesn't work that way. You got it in you. Okay, I just need you to just keep showing up daily and believe in it. And don't let the money be the reason you believe in it. Let the gift be the reason. Let what God told you in the dark what allows you to see the light. Even if you look at your bank account, even if your light is turned off, remember who you are. That's what keeps you bright, shining bright through it all. I telling you, my friends know this and they know that. They look, Ed doesn't quit. They know this and they know nothing else. Ed does it through it all. Look, I had these screens. I had my camera. I lost. Look, somebody stole my camera. They stole the screen. I'm like, I gotta find a way. My laptop screen broke. I gotta find a way. Somebody's like, what? You carrying a screen in your bag with it? I'm like, I gotta find a way. I can't get there. My car broke down. I gotta find a way. Like, I got where to go there. I gotta find a way. Like, there's no, look. I don't care. Okay. Oh, there's a challenge. I'm gonna go around it. Oh, there's a mental. I need to go around. I need to find a way. I gotta find. I'm finding a way. I'm finding a way. If it's not there, if I can't find, I'm gonna create that way. Like, you want to be a trailblazer, blaze that trail. You're like, no, I can't. I need to take a tunnel. I'm tunnel visioned. I need you to be a trailblazer, you know? Trailblazer with a fire in your eyes. They're like, man, that person is blazing some trails. Man, woo, stay out of the person's way, man. You don't want to get in that way because that person ain't somebody to mark with. Okay? Okay. Okay. Understood. Understood. Amen. Amen. Ashe. Ashe. All right, y'all. I'm out. Subscribe to the podcast, edtalksdaily.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with somebody. Shout out to Rita. Shout out to Brianna. Shout out to Karis. Shout out to everybody in the room, man. Shout out to Boston Breeds. Yo, shout out to Carla Tyson. One love. Look, I would say see you at the top, but we already there, baby. Okay? Because it was at the top of the mountain. All right, let me not keep this going. See you. Yo, peace. I'm out. I can keep going. I can go. I got enough for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, six. I don't run out. I don't run out. I never do. But the time does, though. You know what I'm saying? The time does.